The Taken franchise has taken audiences on a ride of action, suspense, and family bonds, making it a beloved series. But is there another installment on the horizon? Let's explore whether Bryan Mills is gearing up for another mission to save the day in Taken 4. Before taking on the iconic role of Bryan Mills, Neeson had been involved in projects where he often played mentor or fatherly figures, such as Kingdom of Heaven and Batman Begins. However, Taken shifted gears, casting Neeson as the retired CIA agent on a mission to rescue his daughter from a human trafficking ring in Paris. The film's straightforward plot, high-octane action sequences, and Neeson's captivating presence turned it into a surprise hit, primarily through word of mouth. It's worth noting that the franchise has also expanded into a TV series in 2017. Taken is a series of English-language French action films, beginning with Taken in 2008, created by producer Luc Besson and American screenwriter Robert Mark Kamen. The first film received mixed reviews from critics but a positive response from audiences and commercial success. Let's dive into the money side of the Taken film series. First up, we've got Taken, which hit theaters on January 30th, 2009. It did some serious cash grabbing, pulling in a whopping $145 million in the United States alone. Globally, it raked in a cool $226.8 million, and all of this was done on a budget of $25 million. Taken was no slouch, landing itself at number 292 on the list of all-time North American box office hits and number 500 worldwide. Now let's talk about Taken 2, which made its debut on October 5th, 2012. This sequel brought in a tidy $139.9 million in the US and an impressive $376.1 million worldwide, all while working with a budget of $45 million. It climbed to number 318 on the North American box office chart and jumped to 219 on the worldwide rankings. Finally, we've got Taken 3, which hit theaters on January 9th, 2015. It collected $89.3 million in the United States and a total of $326.5 million worldwide, and it did all this on a budget of $48 million. Taken 3 found its place at number 697 on the list of all-time North American box office hits and 357 worldwide. When you add it all up, the entire Taken series brought in a grand total of $374.1 million in the United States, a seriously impressive $555.3 million in North America, and a mind-boggling $929.5 million worldwide, and all of this was achieved with a combined budget of $118 million. Cha-ching! Now let's talk about how people and critics felt about these movies. So Taken from 2008 got some mixed reviews. It got a 58% on Rotten Tomatoes from 170 reviews, a Metacritic score of 50 from 31 reviews, and the folks in the cinema gave it an A-. Not too shabby. But when Taken 2 came out in 2012, it faced even more judgment. It got only 22% thumbs up on Rotten Tomatoes from 167 reviews, a Metacritic score of 45 from 35 reviews, and a B+ from moviegoers. Taken 3 in 2014 got hit the harshest criticisms. It could only muster a 12% approval rating from Rotten Tomatoes from 115 reviews, a Metacritic score of 26 from 30 reviews, and another B+ from the cinema crowd. It seems like the critics weren't too kind as the series went on, but hey, if these movies still make good money at the box office, who cares what the critics say, right? So let's discuss the story so far. In the first movie, Bryan Mills, a former Green Beret and CIA officer, tries to reconnect with his 17-year-old daughter Kim, who lives with her mother, Lenore, and stepfather, Stuart. During a concert security job, Bryan saves pop star Sheerah from an attacker, leading to an offer for Kim's vocal assessment. However, Kim secretly plans to go to Paris with her friend Amanda to follow U2's tour. In Paris, Kim and Amanda meet Peter, who later abducts Amanda, prompting Kim to call her father following his instructions on describing the kidnapper. The abductors, led by Marco Hoxha, give Bryan an ultimatum. Bryan heads to Paris and identifies Peter from a photo. After a chase, Peter dies in an accident. Bryan seeks help from Jean-Claude Pitrel, a former colleague, and investigates a red light district. He rescues a drugged girl wearing Kim's jacket and learns of a house where girls were held. Bryan confronts Marco, discovers a sex trafficking ring, and forces Marco to reveal the buyer, Patrice St. Clair. Bryan later confronts Jean-Claude, forcing him to reveal St. Clair's location. Bryan crashes a sex slave auction, rescues Kim, and eliminates St. Clair. He ultimately saves Kim from a Sheikh Rahman and brings her back to the US, surprising her with a visit to Sheerah. So in movie Taken 2, we find Bryan Mills, a retired CIA pro, hanging out in Istanbul with his ex-wife Lenore and their daughter Kim. Sounds like a nice family trip, right? Well, not quite. They end up catching the attention of an Albanian tough guy named Murad Hoxha, who's out for revenge because Bryan's action caused harm to his son. Things take a dramatic turn when Bryan and Lenore are actually kidnapped, but don't worry, Kim manages to slip away. Bryan doesn't waste any time and gets in touch with Kim. Together, they put their heads and skills together to rescue their kidnapped family members. And guess what? They do it! Bryan's special set of skills come in handy when they take down the bad guys, including Murad. In the end, they all come together as a family back in Los Angeles, and Kim even has a sweet moment introducing her boyfriend Jamie. It's a light-hearted ending that wraps things up nicely. In Taken 3, retired CIA operative Bryan Mills visits his daughter Kim but is met with an uncomfortable atmosphere. He invites his ex-wife Lenore to dinner, who confides in him about her marital problems. Lenore's husband Stuart warns Bryan to stay away. Stuart secretly manipulates Bryan's phone to arrange a meeting with Lenore, framing Bryan and erasing the evidence. Bryan receives a text from Lenore, but upon returning home, he finds her dead and escapes the police. LAPD detective Frank Dotzler investigates Bryan. Bryan gathers evidence, including surveillance footage of Lenore's abduction, and maintains contact with Kim. Bryan learns that Stuart is involved and embarks on a mission to confront him. After a series of intense confrontations, Stuart confesses to Lenore's murder, orchestrated by his former partner Malenkov, and an insurance scam involving Bryan. Bryan, with the help of his colleagues, confronts Malenkov, who reveals Stuart's plan. Stuart abducts Kim, but Bryan intervenes at the airport, disabling Stuart's getaway plan. Bryan overpowers Stuart, and the LAPD apprehends Stuart, exonerating Bryan. The story ends with Kim expressing her wish to name her baby after her late mother, emphasizing themes of revenge, justice, and family bonds. Now that you've caught up with the story, is Taken 4 coming anytime soon? Taken 4 is currently in the works, featuring Liam Neeson. Similar to the original Death Wish series starring Charles Bronson, there's a limit to how many times a family member can be abducted or killed before audiences lose interest. Neeson recognized this and initially rejected the idea of reprising his role as Bryan Mills. Nevertheless, the franchise remained profitable and Neeson continued to take on action-packed roles in other films. This raised questions about the possibility of Neeson returning for a Taken 4 movie, and that's where the exciting news comes in. There was a potential for a Taken 4 movie without Neeson, possibly exploring Bryan Mills' earlier CIA days with a younger actor in the role. EuropaCorp took a similar approach with their action franchise The Transporter when Jason Statham left, casting Ed Skrein for a soft reboot called The Transporter Refueled. However, Neeson's presence was crucial to the series' success, and he will indeed return for the next installment, where he'll once again have to rescue someone who's been abducted. It's not clear yet if writer Luc Besson or director Olivier Megaton will be involved in the fourth movie. Well, that's it for now. Make sure that you like our video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to never miss an update. Thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you at the next one.